In this example, we have an adjustable pulley which consists of 8 parts in our assembly. The first one, we have a frame part, which is at this point the main body part. We have a shaft part, which is this one. The third one, we have a pulley part, which is this one. We have the four with collar part. We have for the adjustable pulley, we have that collar part. We have a washer, nut, bolt, and the second washer for our parts in the other part lists. We have 8 washer, and the fifth one, we have another washer at this point. The other parts are so similar to the standard parts. This is an inch example, and I will convert it afterwards when I have finished this example. I will convert it to metric size. Here, what I'm going to do is first I will start with the frame part, which you see on the drawing. We have a frame part, and I would like to have this frame model. This is the basic part and the hardest part that I can model in the figure here. I will just draw first the body part and its dimensions. Afterwards, I will create the main frame and I will add some details to my body part from the sideway view while using this one. The first thing, what I'm going to do is I will convert my figure. This is an inch example. We have the left side and the right side, and I will convert my file by moving the views. Especially, I will just move this view. I will move this view to the other side of these two views. For this, I will just stop the video right now, and I will convert this figure from the example. Okay, I convert the part drawing according to ISO standards, and I will continue my drawing with the body part, the frame part, which is shown here. I will use the frame part by modeling the first. For this, I will just take my mouse back, and I start by just drawing. This time we have a washer and the nut head or the bolt head from this one. This is the adjusting mechanism for the pulley here. Here I will just create the body part sketch outline, which I have seen in the drawing. Okay. I will clear all the details and move sideways my figure, and I would like to have this view, and I would like to also have, I'm going to hide this one also, I'm going to hide this one. I need this view to be modeled. Okay, I will extend the figure. Open a new part. This time I'm going to use the inch template. For this, I will go to English units with an inch template with the standard part here and hit the create button. Okay, what we hear is we have a total height from this figure, we have an adjusting mechanism. This will just go to up and down. Here we have 3 inches in a stroke here, which can move to the bottom side till to the upside. Okay, the next thing, when the file is opened in inch units, as you see, we have a warning about standard ANSI NDA. I will continue this warning. Our file is open. The first thing, what I'm going to do is, in every case, every part, I will choose a part origin for my figure. You can take any part in the drawing, but I would like to prefer this point as my part origin. Here I will create the center point visible. Right click and XY plane visible. Okay. Start a new sketch on XY plane. The next thing, what I'm going to do is I will create 2 lines for axis representation, which I have seen in the technical drawing. For here, I will create 2 lines, one vertical and the other line horizontal. Convert these lines to right click with construction, because I'm not going to use in the sketch drawing. Here I will move the midpoints to origin point here. The next thing, I will draw the outline which I have seen in the technical drawing. I will draw this outline which I see in the technical drawing. From here, I have a distance about 1.2 inches. 1.2 inches. I will close and start a new sketch, and I will create this one with right click because this is the radius and this radius is 1.2 inches. Okay, the next thing, we have this part. Here we have a total height at our point, and this point we are not interested in too much. We can just move this point or this point, whatever it is. You can just consider this as a origin point. I will change my origin point to somewhere here. Okay, I will use this point as origin, and the bottom face of our part is 0.10 inches far from here. Here, what I'm going to do is I'll clear. This is the inches here, and we have another circle which is equal to this one. I will make equal to these two, and the circle distance between the center points of these are 3 inches. And here, the bottom part of this part is 3.5 inches far from the origin point, which is on the bottom side. I will take this point as my origin, and it is here we have 3.5 inches in height. Okay, this is my part 5. We have a top face at this point, and it is, I will extend this line. I will mark that line. Here we have 1.25 inches. Okay. And I will have a fillet between these two lines. I have a fillet between these two lines. I will use this dimension and I will get that dimension from the sideway here. As you see, we have a round flat surface at this top point, which is 1.24 inches. Here, what I'm going to do is I will first make a coincident constraint of this line midpoint on this line, and I will give a dimension. At this time, I will convert this dimension to center line and give the dimension of this line from this point, which is 1.24, which is the top of, I'm sorry, not 25, 24, which is on the top side. And from this point, this way, I have just cleared my part, we have a straight connection between these 2 points. Clear everything, and I have 2 straight lines just intersecting this figure. We have the trims on each 2 sides. Okay. The other lines are also connected to each other. We have 2 connections. One is fully just goes straight to the bottom side. It will go till to the bottom side. I will use a normal line here. It will go to the bottom side as I have shown on the drawing. Here I'm going to make a tangent constraint with this line and this line, and I will just create a trim process from here. This is my bottom line. For this, I will create a new line, a solid line this time, not a construction line. I will make this line passing through the origin point, and I will make the trim these 2 lines to get this distance relationship. This is my line on the bottom side. And here I will go inside a little bit, then go again outside. Here what I'm going to do is I will do the same thing which I have shown on our figure. Here I'm at this point, which is this point. I will go inside. Here I have 0.36 inches far from this line end, as you see. Also, this line will go to 5.2 inches far from here, far from this point. I will clear, I'm sorry, I will clear all the drawings, give the dimension. This line is 5.2 inches in length, and its height is 0.6 inches. And I will go, I'm sorry, this is not this distance. I will make this line 0.6 inches. I will delete this line. I'm not going to use this anymore. From this point, we have a round connection here. I will use that point, and that is tangent to this line. I have a connection round. It passes from this point. It passes to this point. It's also have a coincident constraint. This is the coincident constraint I'm dealing with. This line, this circle passes at this point. Also, we have a line which is tangent to these two curves. This line tangent to this curve. I will make the trim, and this line is tangent, this circle is tangent to this line, and we have a radius with right click. I'm sorry, I give the dimension, right click, 3 inches. And I will make the trim process for all sides of our figure. I will trim the unnecessary things. As you see, we have lost one dimension from here. Also, when I just cut this, trim this two circle, I get lost the equality relationship, also equality with this one. Here, what I'm going to do is I will mark two circles as left it is and make equal to each other. Here I do not know this dimension. And from here, what I'm going to do is I will just make the round if I have seen some dimensions from this point. As you see, we have this dimension tool, which we have this curve inside, as you see, and that dimension is 1.2 inches. However, you can also use a slot tool. I will just delete these two circles. You can use also this slot by using center to center command. From this point to this point, I just create a slot, and this slot has a distance about 1.2 inches. Also, we have another slot from the outside of our part here. We have the inside. I'm just creating this inside. We have the outside for our part, which is this part belongs to this part, and we do not know the other dimension, but I'm going to just make that dimension, and I will find that relationship from the side view of our part. This is our front view of our part. This is our front view. We look from the right side, and we have a right side view here. As you see, we have a right side view. Here, what I'm going to do is I will just create and find the dimension which I have in the figure. I will just look that dimension too. For this, I think I do not have any clue about this dimension, about the thickness value. Let me find here, which is 0.13. Also this dimension, we have inside, and we have a thickness value here to here. Let me pause and find that dimension. Okay, I cannot find that dimension. For this, I will assume 0.2 inches with an offset distance about our figure. I will use the loop selection with right click and choose this selection. And I will assume this wall thickness with 0.2 inches. Okay, let's say 0.3 inches because it's not specified. So here we have a reinforcement at this corner, and I will just create that reinforcement also in this view because I'm not going to draw anymore. Here I would like to have this one, this reinforcement. Also we have a line just going through here. I will just clear this line with a trim, and I need another line. We have a 0.4 inch thickness, and I will just cut the process here. The one we have on the bottom side, we have an emptiness at the bottom side. I will just create a rectangle tool for that bottom side. I'm sorry. I will create this rectangle tool like this. And here we have a wall thickness from symmetrical, probably the symmetrical spacing. From this side, we have a 0.36, also 0.364 inches. And the height of this rectangle is 0.10 inches. Here, what I'm going to do is I will just define 0.10, and from this point to this point, 0.36, and from this point, it is also 0.36. It is not implied. You can also make a symmetrical line around this point. I will clear the details. Okay. The next thing, what I'm going to do is I will just create the body part. For this, we have the main sketches. Finish my sketches and create the body part by starting having the extrusions one by one. For here, we have a roundabout part. We can just use this part by the revolve tool. The top body part, we can use the revolve tool. But for the lower side, we have, let me just get rid of this. Okay. For this tool, we have a wall thickness about 0.5 inches, and this thickness will just continue up to this point. And here we have a body part which is just to go inside to our figure by gradually. Here we have a chamfer at this point, and this chamfer length is about 0.4 inches. Here we have a chamfer process about this one, and we are going to use that process. Okay, clear the things, just close. Then I'm going to make first the extrusion with 1.5 inches by using the all selections. Here I'm not going to use this portion. I will just select every selection, every figure here. Finished my sketch. I have the update tool, have the extrusion, select every closed profile which I have seen in the technical drawing, and this one also. And I will change the symmetrical direction with 1.5 inches, which I have seen here. Or you can just use 0.4 inches to have only this sketch. It's up to you. If you want, you can just enlarge one by one. Let's make that way. I think it will be also easy to get that one. We have a sketch. I will just close the body part visibility and create this 1.5 inches. This 1.5 inches extrusion. And I would like to add that 1.5 inches. Here I have this body part to be extruded in symmetrical 1.5 inches. When I open the visibility, I have added that way. Okay. The next thing, what I'm going to do is I will add again another extrusion. This time again outside, I'm sorry. And I would like to have 1.24 with symmetrical extrusion here. I will clear, and I would like to have a 0.24 inches with the extrusion tool, or you can just make fillets around this tool. I will just clear, and we have a fillet tool with 1.24 by dividing into 2. Here I have this fillet also. By using this tool, you can just get rid of the extrusion revolve tool. Okay, this is our part here. The next thing, we have a base part, and this base part is just having a distance with 4 inches. For this, I'm going to use all the way here, again extrusion. This time I will use the base tool, and with extrusion with symmetrical with 4 inches. I will get outside here, as you see, with 4 inches. Okay, the next thing, we have another reinforcement. From this point, we have some reinforcements which is going out from this point. We will like to have these triangles. For this, what I'm going to do is I will like to have, this one, have this extrusion tool. I would like to have this point to be extruded up to this point. I will clear, start a new extrusion this time. I would like to have to see this small extrusion here. As you see, we have a 4 inches, again with symmetrical with 4 inches tool. Okay. The next thing also we can add, let me check again. We have this tool included, this one, and I will just make a cut operation by starting from the other side of this extrusion. I will use this extrusion first, then change my point of view and start a new sketch, this time on this face. With F7 tool, I will remove all the material and I would like to just make a cut, which I have seen here. I would like to just make the cuts. This point, I do not need the cut. Also, I will remove this face from the outside if you want so. Okay, the next thing, I will ignore this face cut. I will do something different than I have before. Here, I will take back this extrusion. Here, you can also just create the chamfer tool between these two items. Here, we have a chamfer figure in our backside of this slot part. We have a chamfer figure here. You can also make the extrusion afterwards. Here we have 1.5 inches. We have 0.4 inches thickness. We have reserved 1.1 inches, and we have probably a 45 degrees, 1.5 inches, 1 inches divided by 2, which is 0.55 inches with 0.55 and with the 45 degrees. I will just clear all the drawings, which I have just done. I have the chamfer tool. I will use this way 0.55 with a chamfer tool. I'm sorry, 1.1 divided by 2. You can use with the 45, which is this face and this edge. Let me have, if I can do that fillet or chamfer. Okay, also we have some other ways to just create that reinforcement in our figure. We can use the revolve tool around this figure. For this, you can also just create a new plane from this point or the back point, which is 3.5 inches far from the bottom side. We will use 3.5 with minus sign. We have just created that plane, and I will use this plane, or you can use the plane which is at this point for creating the fillet tool, the revolve tool here. Delete. You can also use plane from offset plane. From this point, we will go inside. As you see, we have a thickness about 1.2 inches. I will go inside with 1.2 inches with the figure here. I will just start a new sketch this time with F7 tool. I will create a reinforcement. For this, I will start a sketch here, and I will create a reinforcement with not specified dimension 45 degrees. As you see, we have just closed this profile. Also, I would like to use, I have forgotten something, with F7 tool, I would like to have this point, and I need a revolve axis. Also, I need another axis from the other side of our figure. Here, I have the profile inside the closed loop area, which you can see from here. You can see that closed loop area. We have also a rotation axis, which you have seen at this point. This is our rotation axis, and this will be our closed profile to rotate around. Here, I will revolve this point, this profile around this axis. Okay, this is not a full. To next, to this side. As you see, we have just closed this profile. Also, you can just specify an angle with 90 degrees with symmetrical. For example, we would like to have 180 degrees with symmetrical around here. Then afterwards, I will just delete some details by using the revolve tool, extrusion tool, I'm sorry. For here, I have this reinforcement, which I have seen at this point. I have this reinforcement, which I have seen at this point. Now I need another reinforcement on the other side. For this, I will use a mirror tool. But for this, I'm going to use this plane. First, select this revolve, half revolve. Use this plane to get another reinforcement on the other side. We have these two reinforcements on the other side. Here, what I need is, I do not need any part starting from here, okay? Also, I do not need any part starting from here. For this, I will start a new sketch, again on XY plane with F7 tool. I will use some geometries to just cut. As you see, we have some excess geometries, which is this one, also, which is this one, a finished sketch. And I would like to make a cut operation, extrude with cut again on the other side. We have a cut operation with the distance all and with symmetrical on two faces. As you see, we have a fillet chamfer tool on two sides of our plane. Okay, I will just close the visibilities to show you better what we did in our figure. We have just close the visibility of our figure. The next thing, we have a reinforcement, which is this triangle. I'm going to reinforcement by using the sketch which I have created. This is the figure here, and to see which figure to show you, actually I know how to make it, but to show you, I will use the half section view from the view tab, half section, by using the XY plane normal sketch. I have this reinforcement starting from this point. As you see, we have this reinforcement. I will take the move back. Yes, okay. I will take this point. As you see, we have started this reinforcement from the figure up to this point, I will use extrusion tool, select this profile inside, and I would like to have between or distance with 4 inches, this time symmetrical around here. As you see, we have created a part drawing starting from here. Okay. The next thing, we would like to just make a first this triangular cut, then the excess part by using the extrusion cut to next command. Okay. From this one, I will create the first body part. The next thing, what I'm going to do is I will just create this triangular cut. I will change my view representation from the half section view to just make the cut which I'm going to show you in our problem. I will just remove this portion from our figure. Also, the next thing, I will use this portion with a cut. Clear everything and go back to the business. Okay. You can also ignore this excess part if you want, so you can just make the cut up to somewhere here. First, let's make the triangular cut. For this, I will use this portion, start a new sketch, and this is not very specified in very detail here. As you see, we do not have too much detail of our part here. We have a triangle. I think we have 1.4 inches from this one. I'll start a new sketch on back face. I will again have the full end section view with F7 tool. I will use a tool by having this figure. We have a 1.4 inches, which is around somewhere here, which I'm going to just make a projection, as you see here. And from this point, we would like to have, okay, again, a project geometry. I would like to have a cut operation, which is this face, the face here, I said the face here. I'm sorry, I will take my mouse back, first of all. Again, I have the project geometry. From this point, I will use a normal line. Again, another normal line, starting from this end, which will result at the end of these two lines. For these, I will get the geometry and copy to my figure on the other side. Then I would like to have a connection. This line will end this point. This one line will end this point. Okay. The cut section, I have get these ones. Also, first of all, I would like to have this cut. Also this one and this one. I will use these two triangles to make the first cut. Okay. Finish my sketch first of all. I will just clear the annotations. I would like to have an extrude tool, this one and this one with a cut up to the face here. As you see, we have a reinforcement which we have just created. The next missing thing, which is not defined, I will just have this point to be cut up to this point. Here, what I'm going to do is I will create a new sketch, this time on this face. Again, I have the project geometry on this face. Again, I have an extrude tool on this face with cut operation up to the point here. I would like to make a cut up to this point. Now I have a straight wall here, as you see. The next thing, I again start a new sketch on this face. Again, get a project geometry on this face, finish my sketch, and start an extrusion by using this face with cut operation up to, let's choose the 2 next, we'll cover all the points. With 2, I will use this point to make a cut. Now we have a straight face, as you see here. The next thing, we have 2 holes. One is on the top side. For here, I'm going to start a new sketch on this face and create a project geometry to get the point which I'm going to use the hole on the top side. I will close the visibility of our sketch, have a hole tool, and use this point as my hole point. And we have a core dimension which is 0.6 inches. 0.6, I'm sorry, 0.6 inches up to, not through all, to this face by using this face tool. We have a hole on the top side. Also, we have some minor details left to this point. We have 4 holes, and these details are shown on the top side. We have 4 holes with 0.2 inches. Okay. Also, we have another detail which I have just recently see that details, or we can just continue that detail afterwards. We have 4 holes, and their distances from the top side. We have 4 inches. This is, we have the 4 holes. The distance between these 2 holes are 4 inches. And the distance on the right side is 2.8 inches. And which is this distance, this time, the distance between these 2 holes are 2.8 inches. 2.8 inches. Let me clear everything. I will just start a new sketch on this face, and I will use a rectangle tool. The distance between these 2 holes are 2.8 inches, and the 2 hole distance is 4 inches, and this hole is again far from the backside or the midpoint of this line. The backside is 0.2 inches. We have a center point here. It is 0.6 inches. For this, I'm going to use this geometry. As you see, our origin point is also seen here with F7 tool. As you see, it is the same, which is our origin point, as you see. And our whole center is 0.6 inches far from here. 0.6 inches. The next thing, I will just make it clear. The next thing, we have a whole distance, which is symmetrical around. As you see, we have 2.8 inches. And for this reason, you can just use an aid line from top to bottom side. We use the midpoint. These are the midpoint of our figure. This is the midpoint, this is the midpoint, and this midpoints pass through the origin point. For here, I will clear everything. I'm not going to use this line, and I will turn it to construction. But I will do something. I will make coincident this line on this point. As you see, everything is defined, and I will use these four corners, these four corners for our path creation. Okay. We will use four corners with 0.438 dimension. Here I'm going to finish my sketch first. I can see the sketch from the top side. As you see here, we have four corners. I get a hole tool. The hole is a true hole with the dimension which is 0.438 inches, which is this point, which is this point, which is this point, and the point on the other side here. Okay. We have this four holes. Also here, we have some fillet tools, as you see, 0.2 inches. You can also make these 0.2 inches fillets by having the fillet tool, which is this one, and this fillet is 0.2 inches. The next tool, 0.2 inches. This is 0.2 inches. This is 0.2 inches again. Okay. But okay. The next thing, we also have some fillet tools. Again, 0.2 inches. You can also combine. I will just close this origin folder. Yes, this one, and include some fillet tools, which is this one, which is this one. Also from the left side, we have some fillet tools at this corner. We have some fillets at these corners. Also, we have some details in these corners. You can just have all the way by using the fillet tool and add every section with 0.2 inches fillet tool. This one, also this one, and this one as well. Okay, these are them. tools here. Although it is not specified, you can use fillet tool as well, 0.2 inches, which is on the bottom side of our figure here, which is 0.2 inches. I'm not sure. Also, which is 0.2 inches, which is this one. Okay, these fillets are just go inside of our whole features from here. What I need is the last thing that we would like to have. As you see, we have a top view side, which are these fillets. As you see, we have a detail which I have recently seen. We have a fillet cut, but this time we have a straight wall. I will make a cut up to this point, this line, this surface. I will create a new sketch on the top side by using this face. Okay. I will take out and just clear everything. I'm sorry. I will create a new figure and I would like to have 0.1 inches, I'm sorry, 1.2 inches in radius. Right click, dimension, 1.2. As you see, we have some project details. I would like to just cover this one. For this, I will just cut these lines and I will cut this part details up to somewhere in our figure. Okay, till to the surface. Also, we have some other details. As you see, I think we have again probably this face detail. Again, I will take my trim back. You can also use this face to detail this one. Okay, again the trim for unnecessary parts. We have lost the connection, this one, and we will just define again the connection between these two figures. What I would like to do is I will just make a cut up to somewhere in the drawing, which is this one, this face. Okay, have the extra tool. Let's make this first, these two details. I think we have a problem in our figure. Let's have this one. We have two figures here. I will make a cut to this face, and this is not included. I will just make a cut to this face, which I have just cleared this face. Okay, this is the face which I have seen from the top side. As you see, we have a face cleared on the top side. Also, again, we would like to have again a new face. I will just go and up the sketch visibility. Especially, I'm going to edit first of all. Okay, you can ignore this one. Let me split again and try it again with an extrusion cut. I'm sorry. Just take my move back. Yes, this one. I will use the trim. I'm not going to select the profile, everything inside. I will remove the profile. Yes, this profile. And again, the profile on this side. But this time, I'm not interested in these two profiles, only the back side. This time, yes, I have just saved my part file. And the next thing, I would like to make a cut on the front side, which is this one and this one. I will make a cut up to next comment. I will just make the cuts which I have seen from the top side. And here I have some details which I have seen here. Also, I would like to have again some cut details. Not this one. I think it's better to just save somewhere here for the second extrusion, not to next command. With two commands up to this point, I will just make the cut up to somewhere here, because or you can just choose another point somewhere here like this one. You can just make the cut. Okay. Also, you can just use this point as a cut operation, because we do not like to just save here. We have this point, just included our part here. Okay. I don't like this one. I will delete and ignore the technical drawing at this point. It is not seen too good and it's not true in our part. I will also change the model also on the other side. This is our part here, the body frame here, I think, the frame part. We have all the details. Also, we have some 0.2 inches with the fillet tool. You can just use this one, this face and this face and this face. Also, the face on the back side, right side, on the left side. You can just use these faces. This is our frame part, which we have just modeled through. Okay. This is the part we are interested in, so, and we will continue with the other parts after.